Jinho shook his head. She was defending herself. There's a difference. He walked away, leaving the captain standing in the hallway. Jinho shook his head. She was defending herself. There's a difference. He walked away, leaving the captain standing in the hallway. 3 days passed after the crash. Vala stayed in her room. She did not come out. She did not speak to anyone. The humans left food and water outside her door, and when they came back later, the plates were empty. That was the only sign she was still alive. Jinho continued his work at the station. He fixed broken machines. He repaired damaged equipment. He did the same things he did every day before the alien ship fell from the sky. But now, every morning, he stopped at her door. He left something there. Sometimes it was food. Sometimes it was medicine. Sometimes it was a tool she might need. He never knocked. He never spoke. He just left the items and walked away. On the 4th day, something changed. Jinho was working in the main repair bay. It was a large room filled with broken machines, spare parts, and tools of all sizes. This was his kingdom. This was where he felt most at home. Machines made sense to him. They did not lie. They did not pretend. When something was broken, you could see it. When something was fixed, it worked. It was simple. It was honest. He was bent over a power generator, trying to find a fault in the wiring when he felt something. A presence. Eyes on his back. He turned around slowly. She was standing at the door of the repair bay. The alien woman. Vila. Her armor was still damaged. Cracks ran across the chest plate. One of the shoulder pieces was barely attached. Sparks flickered from the damaged sections every few seconds. But she was standing. She was walking. She was alive. Her golden eyes watched him. They did not blink. Jinho did not move. He did not speak. He just waited. For a long moment, they looked at each other across the room. The air between them was thick with silence. Then Vila stepped to the side. She sat down on a metal crate near the door. Her back was against the wall. Her eyes never left him. She did not say anything. She did not explain why she was there. She just sat and watched. Jinho understood. She was not here to talk. She was not here to ask for help. She was here to observe, to learn, to understand. He turned back to his work. The next few hours were strange. Jinho worked on the generator while Vela watched from her corner. He could feel her eyes on him constantly. It made him nervous at first. He made small mistakes. He dropped tools. He cut his finger on a sharp edge. But slowly, he relaxed. He started to forget she was there. He fell into the rhythm of his work. His hands moved automatically. He talked to himself quietly, the way he always did when he was solving a problem. The fault is here, in the 3rd coil, he muttered. But why? There's no damage. No corrosion. So why is it not working? He did not expect an answer. He was just thinking out loud. But then a voice came from behind him. The alignment is wrong. Jinho turned. Vela was still sitting on the crate, still watching him. Her voice was calm now. Not angry. Not afraid. Just neutral. What? Jinho asked. The 3rd coil. Its alignment is wrong by a small degree. That is why the energy does not flow properly. Jinho looked at the coil. He looked closer. She was right. The coil was slightly tilted. Just a tiny bit. He would never have noticed it with his eyes alone. How did you see that from over there? He asked. Vila did not answer. She just looked at him with those golden eyes. Jinho nodded slowly. Thank you, he said. He adjusted the coil. The generator hummed to life. The lights on its surface turned green. It was working. Jinho smiled. He looked at Vila. You know about machines. I know about many things, she said. Her voice was flat, but there was something underneath it. Something like pride. Jinho wiped his hands on his pants. Would you like to see more? I have other things to fix. Vila did not answer immediately. She seemed to be thinking, weighing her options, deciding if this was safe. Finally, she gave a small nod. Jinho picked up his tools and moved to another machine, a navigation computer. Its screen was cracked and its internal memory was corrupted. He opened the case and looked inside. This one is more difficult, he said. The memory chips are damaged. I need to replace them. But I don't have the exact parts. I have to make them work with different chips. Vila stood up. She walked closer. Not close enough to touch, but close enough to see. She looked at the inside of the computer. Her eyes moved quickly, scanning everything. Your technology is primitive, she said. Jinho laughed softly. I know. Compared to yours, we are like children. Vala looked at him. She seemed surprised by his response. You admit this freely? Why not? It's true. Humans have only been in space for 50 years. Your people have probably been traveling the stars for thousands of years. Of course, you know more than us. Most species would never admit weakness, Vala said. They would claim to be strong, even when they are not. Pride is more important than truth. Jinho shrugged. Pride doesn't fix machines. Truth does. Vila was silent for a moment. Then she spoke again. You are a strange human. My name is Jinho, he said. You can call me that. Jinho, she repeated. The words sounded different in her voice, musical, like a note from an instrument. I am Vila. I know, Jinho said. Captain Yuna found your identification in the ship wreckage. Vala's expression darkened for a moment. She did not like that they had looked through her things. But she did not say anything. Jinho noticed her discomfort. He quickly changed the subject. Can you tell me about this? He pointed at her armor. Not to touch it, just to understand. It's more advanced than anything I've seen. I want to learn. Vala looked down at her damaged armor. The sparks were still coming from the broken sections. The pain was still there, a constant reminder of her injury. It is Kirith battle armor, she said slowly. It connects to the body of the wearer. It responds to thought. It enhances strength, speed, and senses. It can also heal small wounds. It connects to your body? Jinho asked. His eyes were wide with interest. How? Through the skin. Small fibers extend into the flesh. They link with the nervous system. The armor becomes part of you. Jinho nodded slowly. He understood now why removing the armor was so complicated. It was not just clothing. It was part of her. Does it hurt? He asked, having it connected like that? Vala was quiet for a moment. At first, when you are young, the process of bonding is painful. But after many years, you do not feel it anymore. The armor is natural, like an extra layer of skin. But now it's damaged. And the damage hurts. Yes. Her voice was tight. The broken connections send wrong signals to my body. It is like fire in my nerves. Constant. Burning. Jinho felt his chest tighten with sympathy. She had been living with that pain for days. She had chosen to suffer rather than let anyone touch her. I wish I could help, he said quietly. Vila's eyes met his. There was something in them now. Something new. Why do you wish this? You do not know me. We are not allies. My people might even be enemies of your people. Why do you care about my pain? Jinho thought about her question. He had thought about it many times since she arrived. The answer was simple, but saying it out loud felt strange. Because pain is pain, he said finally. It doesn't matter who feels it. It hurts the same. And if I can help make it stop, I want to. Vila stared at him. Her golden eyes were unreadable. But Jinho thought he saw something shift in them. A small change. Like a door opening, just a crack. You are not like the warriors I have known, she said. I'm not a warrior at all, Jinho replied. I'm just a technician. I fix things. Yes, I have noticed. Jinho smiled. He went back to working on the navigation computer. Vela watched him. She asked questions sometimes. About the tools he used. About the methods he followed. About the way humans designed their machines. Jinho answered every question. He never made her feel stupid for asking. He never acted like he was better than her. He just explained things in simple words, patiently and kindly. Hours passed. The station moved through its daily routines around them. Other crew members walked by the repair bay. Some of them looked in with curious eyes. They saw the alien woman sitting there, watching the human technician work. They whispered to each other. They found it strange, but no one interrupted. Captain Yuna had given orders. Let the alien be. Do not bother her. Do not threaten her. Let her find her own peace. When evening came, Jinho put down his tools. He stretched his back and yawned. I need to eat, he said. And sleep. My eyes are tired. Vila nodded. She stood up slowly. Her movements were stiff. The pain was still there, always there. I will go back to my room, she said. Jinho hesitated. Then he spoke. There is food in the dining hall. You could join us. Eat with the others. No one would bother you. Vila's expression closed. The small opening in her eyes shut again. No, I am not ready for that. Okay, Jinho said. He did not push. I'll have food sent to your room. He started to walk toward the door. Then he stopped. He turned back to look at her. Vila? She looked at him. I'm glad you came today. To watch. It was nice having company. Vila did not respond. But something in her face softened. Just a little. Jinho left the repair bay and walked to the dining hall. He ate his dinner alone at a small table. His mind was full of thoughts about the alien woman. About her pain. About her fear. About the world she came from. A world where touch meant dominance. Where kindness was weakness. Where trust did not exist. He could not imagine living in such a place. It sounded lonely, cold, empty. He wondered what had happened to make her people that way. What had they experienced? 2 weeks had passed since the crash. Vela had become a strange part of life at Station 12. She was not a prisoner anymore. She was not quite a guest either. She was something in between. A ghost that walked the halls. A shadow that sat in corners and watched. The crew had grown used to her. They no longer jumped when they saw her silver skin in the corridors. They no longer whispered as much when she passed. Some of them even nodded at her. Small greetings. Tiny acknowledgments that she existed. Vela did not return these greetings. But she noticed them. She remembered each face. Each nod. Each small act of acceptance. It confused her. On her world, strangers were threats. You did not nod at threats. You watched them. You waited for them to attack. And when they did, you killed them first. But these humans did not attack. They just nodded, and smiled, and went on with their lives. It made no sense. Jinho remained her anchor. Every day, she went to the repair bay. Every day, she watched him work. They talked sometimes. About machines. About technology. About the differences between their worlds. But mostly, they were silent together. It was a comfortable silence. A safe silence. Vela had never experienced anything like it. On her world, Silence was dangerous. Silence meant someone was planning. Someone was waiting. Someone was about to strike. You could not relax in silence. You had to stay alert, always ready, always afraid. But with Jingho, silence was peaceful. It meant nothing bad was coming. It meant she could breathe. It meant she could rest. She did not understand why she felt this way around him. He was weak. He had no armor. He had no weapons. He could not fight. If she wanted to, she could kill him in seconds. He was nothing. And yet, he made her feel safe. It was the strangest thing she had ever experienced. One morning, Vila woke up in pain. This was not unusual. The pain had been with her since the crash. But this morning, it was worse. Much worse. She tried to sit up. A sharp agony exploded in her chest. She gasped. She fell back on the bed. Her hands went to her chest plate. The clasp was broken. The central clasp that held the chest armor in place had finally failed. The metal had bent and cracked during the crash, and for 2 weeks it had been slowly getting worse. Now it was completely broken. The chest plate was loose. It was pressing against her ribs in the wrong way. Every breath was like a knife cutting into her lungs. Vila tried to fix it. She pressed on the clasp. She tried to bend it back into shape, but her fingers were shaking. The pain was too strong. She could not focus. She lay there, breathing in short, shallow gasps. The world around her started to blur. Black spots appeared at the edges of her vision. She was going to die. Here, in this small room, on this alien station, far from home. She was going to die because a piece of metal had broken. It was shameful. A warrior of the Kareth Empire should not die like this. A warrior should die in battle, with honor, with glory, not alone, not in silence, not from a broken clasp. But Vila could not move. She could not call for help. She could not do anything except lie there and wait for the darkness to take her. Time passed. She did not know how long, minutes, maybe hours. The pain became everything. It filled her mind. It erased her thoughts. She forgot where she was. She forgot who she was. There was only pain. Then she heard a sound. A knock on the door. Soft, gentle. She tried to speak. Her voice came out as a whisper. Help. The door opened. Jinho stood there. He had a tray in his hands. Breakfast. He brought it every morning, even though she never asked him to. He saw her on the bed. He saw the way she was curled up. He saw the broken clasp. He saw the pain on her face. The tray fell from his hands. It hit the floor with a crash. Food spilled everywhere. He did not notice. Vila. He ran to the bed. He stopped at the edge. His hands reached out, then pulled back. He remembered. He could not touch her. She had forbidden it. The clasp, Vela gasped. Broken. I cannot breathe. Jinho's face went pale. He looked at the chest plate. He could see the problem. The clasp had bent inward. It was pressing on her chest. It was crushing her slowly. I can fix it, he said. His voice shook. I can fix it, but I need to touch you. Vela, I need to touch the armor. Please. Vila's golden eyes found his face. They were dim now. The light in them was fading. She was dying. She could feel it. Touch was weakness. Touch was submission. Touch was everything she had been taught to hate. But she did not want to die. Yes, she whispered. Do it. Jinho did not hesitate. He knelt beside the bed. His hands went to the chest plate. He did not grab. He did not force. His movements were slow, careful, deliberate. I'm going to look at the clasp first, he said. His voice was calm now, steady, the voice he used when he was working, when he was fixing something. I need to understand how it works before I can repair it. Val watched him through half-closed eyes. She expected him to rip the armor off. That was what a Kirith warrior would do. Fast, brutal, efficient. But Jinho did not do that. He examined the clasp. He turned his head. He looked at it from different angles. His fingers hovered near it but did not touch. "Okay," he said softly. "I see it. The clasp has a locking mechanism. It's jammed because the metal bent. I need to straighten the metal first. Then I can release the lock. Then I can adjust the plate so it's not pressing on your chest." Vila tried to nod. The movement sent pain through her body. "Don't move," Jinho said. "Just breathe. I'm going to talk while I work. So you know what I'm doing. So there are no surprises. Okay?" "Okay," Vila whispered. Jinho pulled out a small tool from his pocket. He always carried tools. He said you never knew when you might need to fix something. "I'm touching the clasp now," he said. "Just the metal, not your skin. I'm using this tool to push the bent part outward. You might feel some pressure." Vila felt the pressure. It was not pleasant. But Jinho's hands were steady. They did not shake. They did not hesitate. They moved with purpose, with confidence. "The metal is straightening," he continued. "Almost there. A little more. There. It's straight now. The locking mechanism should work again." He pressed something. There was a click. The pressure on Vela's chest eased slightly. "Good," Jinho said. "The lock is released. Now I need to adjust the plate. I have to move it away from your ribs. This might hurt a little." "Do it," Vila said. Her voice was stronger now. She could breathe a little easier. Jinho put his hands on the sides of the chest plate. His touch was light, feather-light. Vela barely felt it. "I'm going to lift it slightly," he said. "Just a few centimeters. Then I'll shift it to the left. Ready?" "Ready." He lifted. He shifted. The plate moved. The pain in Vila's chest suddenly stopped. She took a deep breath. A real breath. Air filled her lungs without knives cutting into her. She took another breath. And another. Tears formed in her eyes. She blinked them away. Warriors did not cry. Warriors did not show weakness. But these were not tears of weakness. They were tears of relief. Jinho looked at the clasp. "I need to secure it again. Otherwise the plate will shift when you move." "Can I?" "Yes." He worked on the clasp. He bent it back into shape. He reinforced it with a small piece of wire from his pocket. He tested it several times. He made sure it was strong. "There," he said finally. "It's not perfect. The clasp needs to be properly replaced. But it will hold for now. It won't press on your chest anymore." Vila slowly sat up. The movement was smooth. The pain was gone. She touched her chest plate. It felt secure. It felt right. She looked at Jinho. He was still kneeling beside the bed. His face was covered in sweat. His hands were shaking now. The adrenaline was wearing off. "You saved my life," Vila said. Jinho shook his head. "I fixed a clasp. That's all." "No." Vila's voice was firm. "You saved my life. And you did it gently." That word hung in the air between them. Gently. It was not a word Vela used often. It was not a word her people valued. But in that moment, it meant everything. "I asked permission," Jinho said softly. "Every step. I told you what I was doing. You could have stopped me at any time. Why?" Vila asked. "Why did you do that? You could see I was dying. You could have just fixed the armor without asking. I could not have stopped you." Jinho was quiet for a moment. He seemed to be thinking about his answer. Because your body is yours, he said finally. Even when you're hurt, even when you're dying, it's still yours. I don't have the right to touch you without your permission. No one does. Vila stared at him. She felt something shifting inside her. Something old and hard was cracking. Something new and fragile was growing. On my world, she said slowly, the strong touch the weak whenever they want. It is the way of things. It is the natural order. Maybe, Jinho said. But I'm not from your world. No, you are not. Jinho stood up. His knees cracked. He had been kneeling for a long time. I should get Taiho, the medical officer. He should check you. Make sure there's no internal damage. No, Vela said quickly. Jinho stopped. He looked at her with concern. Vela, I do not want anyone else to touch me. Her voice was hard again. The walls were going back up. You, only you. Jinho blinked. He did not understand. Why me? Vela did not answer. She could not answer. She did not have words for what she felt. She only knew that when Jinho touched her, it was different. It did not feel like dominance. It did not feel like violation. It felt like help, real help, given freely, without demand, without expectation. Please, she said. The word felt strange in her mouth. She had never said it before. Not like this. If my armor after the incident with the chest plate, something changed between Vela and Jinho. It was not a big change. Not at first. But it was there. A shift in the air. A softening of walls. A bridge being built one small stone at a time. Vela still came to the repair bay every day. She still sat in her corner and watched Jinho work. But now, sometimes, she sat a little closer. And sometimes, she spoke first. Jinho noticed. He did not mention it. He did not want to scare her away. He just accepted it. He continued to work. He continued to explain what he was doing. He continued to treat her with the same patience and respect he always had. But at night, in his room, he thought about her. He thought about her world, about her pain, about the life she must have lived before she crashed on this station. What was it like to grow up in a place where touch meant violence? Where every hand that reached for you was a threat? Where gentleness did not exist? He could not imagine it. He did not want to imagine it till one evening, after a long day of work. Jinho sat in the repair bay cleaning his tools. Vela was there, as always. But today, she was restless. She kept shifting on her crate. She kept touching her armor. Her fingers moved over the damaged sections again and again. Something is wrong, Jinho said. It was not a question that Viola stopped moving. She looked at him. How do you know? You're touching your armor a lot. You only do that when it hurts. Vila was silent for a moment. Then she spoke. The shoulder piece. The left one. It has been getting worse. The connections are failing. I feel shooting pains down my arm. Jinho put down his tools. He turned to face her fully. Can I look at it? Vila hesitated. The memory of the chest plate was still fresh. The way he had touched her. The way he had asked permission. The way he had been so careful. Yes, she said. Jinho stood up. He walked toward her slowly. He did not rush. He gave her time to change her mind. When he reached her, he stopped about a meter away. I'm going to kneel in front of you, he said, so I can see the shoulder at the right angle. Is that okay? Vila nodded. Jinho knelt. He was close to her now. Closer than he had ever been. He could see the details of her silver skin. The way it shimmered in the light. The tiny patterns that looked like circuits running beneath the surface. She was beautiful. He had thought this before. But now, up close, it hit him with new force. She was beautiful and broken and trying so hard to survive. He pushed the thought away. He needed to focus. "I'm going to look at the shoulder plate now," he said. Just looking. Not touching yet. Vila sat very still. Her golden eyes watched his face. Jinho examined the shoulder armor. It was worse than the chest plate had been. Several pieces were cracked. The connections that linked the armor to her body were exposed. He could see the thin fibers that went into her skin. Some of them were damaged. Some were sparking. "This is bad," he said honestly. "The connections are deteriorating. If they fail completely, the whole piece will come loose." "And the fibers?" He paused. "If the fibers break inside your body, it could cause serious damage." "I know," Vela said. Her voice was flat. "I have been trying to ignore it. Why didn't you tell me sooner?" Vila did not answer. Jinho understood. Asking for help was hard for her. Every request was an admission of weakness. And on her world, weakness was death. "Okay," Jinho said. "I need to repair this. It's going to take a while. And I'm going to have to touch you. The armor and probably your skin too. The connections go into your body. I can't fix them without touching the area around them." Vila's body went rigid. He could see the fear in her eyes. The old fear. The fear that had been trained into her from birth. "I will explain everything before I do it," Jinho continued. His voice was soft, calm, like water flowing over stones. "I will ask permission every time. If you want me to stop, at any point, for any reason, just say so. I will stop. No questions. No judgment, okay?" Vila took a slow breath. Her hands were gripping the edge of the crate so hard that the metal was bending. "Okay," she whispered. Jinho stood up. He went to his workstation and gathered some tools. Special tools. Small ones. Delicate ones. The kind he used for the most fragile repairs. He came back and knelt in front of her again. "I'm going to start with the outer plate," he said. "The big piece that covers your shoulder. I need to remove it so I can see the connections underneath. To do that, I'm going to touch the plate and the clasps that hold it in place. Not your skin, just the metal. Ready?" "Ready." His fingers touched the armor. Vila felt the pressure. It was light, careful, like the touch of a feather. Jinho found the clasps. There were 3 of them. He studied each one. These are different from the chestplate clasps. More complex. I'm going to try to release the first one now. You might feel a small vibration. He pressed something. There was a click. Vela felt the vibration he had described. First clasp released. Moving to the second one. He continued like this for several minutes, describing every action before he took it, asking for permission at every step. Never rushing. Never forcing. Vila watched him work. She watched his face. It was focused, intense, but also calm. There was no anger in it. No hunger. No desire to dominate. He was just fixing something. Like he fixed everything else. With patience. With care. With respect. The outer plate came free. Jinho set it aside carefully, like it was made of glass. Now I can see the connections, he said. He leaned closer. His breath touched her skin. She felt a shiver run through her body. But it was not a shiver of fear. Some of the fibers are damaged, Jinho continued. I can see 4 that are broken. They're sparking because the signals can't get through. I need to repair them. This means touching the area around the fibers. Touching your skin. Vila's heart was beating fast. Touch. Real touch. Skin to skin. She had not allowed that in years. The last person who had touched her skin without permission had lost their hand. But Jinho was not like the others. She knew this now. She had seen his hands work. She had felt his gentleness when he fixed her chest plate. She had read his little note 100 times. "You may touch me," she said. The words felt like jumping off a cliff. Jinho nodded. He did not make a big deal of it. He did not look surprised or pleased or anything like that. He just nodded and continued. "I'm gonna touch the skin next to the first damaged fiber now. I'll use 2 fingers. Very light pressure. Tell me if it hurts." His fingers touched her skin. Veil a gasp. Not from pain. The sensation was... She had no words for it. It was like fire and ice at the same time. It was like being touched for the first time in her life. His fingers were warm, soft. Human skin was so different from Kirith's skin. Smoother, more delicate. She could feel the ridges of his fingerprints against her. "Are you okay?" Jinho asked. He had frozen at her gasp. Double quotes. "Yes," Vela managed to say. "Continue." Jinho continued. He worked on the damaged fibers one by one. He used his smallest tools. He moved with incredible precision. Sometimes he had to pause and think. Sometimes he made small sounds of concentration. Sometimes he hummed quietly, like he forgot she was there. Vela watched him. She felt his fingers on her skin again and again. Each touch was gentle. Each touch was announced before it happened. Each touch was given with respect. She had never known touch could be like this. On her world, touch was always about power. The strong touched the weak to show dominance. The weak submitted or died. There was no middle ground. There was no kindness. There was no asking. But Jinho asked. Every single time. Even when she had already given permission. Even when it was obvious what he needed to do. He still asked. Why? Why did he do this? What did he gain from it? She wanted to understand. She needed to understand. "Jinho," she said. He paused his work. "Yes? Why do you ask permission so many times? I already said you could touch me. You do not need to ask again and again." Jinho thought about it. His fingers stayed still on her skin. She could feel his pulse through them. Steady, calm. "Because permission can be taken back," he said finally. "Just because you said yes once doesn't mean you can't say no later. Your feelings might change. The situation might change. I want you to know that you always have a choice. That you're in control. Not me." Vela stared at him. "You want me to be in control?" "Yes, always. Your body, your choices. That's how it should be. But you are stronger than me right now. I am injured. I cannot fight. You could do anything you wanted. I could not stop you." Jinho's eyes met hers. They were dark brown, warm, like the soil of a planet she had once visited. A peaceful planet. A green planet. "I know," he said. "That's exactly why I ask. Because you can't stop me. Because you're vulnerable. In that situation, I have to be extra careful. I have to make sure you feel safe. I have to prove that I won't hurt you." "Prove?" Vela repeated. "How can you prove something like that?" "By my actions. By my choices. Every time I ask permission, I'm showing you that I respect your boundaries. Every time I stop when you say stop, I'm building trust. It takes time, but eventually you'll know. You'll believe it, because I'll never give you a reason to doubt." Vela was quiet for a long moment. She thought about his words. She thought about her life. She thought about all the hands that had touched her without asking. All the pain. All the fear. And she thought about this human. This weak, soft, gentle human. Who asked permission to touch her armor. Who explained every. 6 weeks after the crash, a ship arrived at Station 12. It was not a human ship. It was Kirith, Vela was in the repair bay when the alarm started. She heard the sound and knew immediately what it meant. Her people had come for her. Or rather, they had come to see if she was still alive. And if she was not, to retrieve her armor. That was more valuable than her body. Captain Yuna's voice came over the speakers. All personnel, remain calm. We have incoming Kirith vessel. They are requesting permission to dock. Repeat, remain calm. Vela stood up. Her heart was beating fast. Her hands were shaking. She had not thought about this moment. She had not wanted to think about it. For 6 weeks, she had been living in a strange dream. A dream where she was safe, where she was cared for, where a human named Jinho touched her gently and asked permission before every action. Now the dream was ending. Jinho walked into the repair bay. His face was serious. You heard? Yes, they're here for you. Yes, Jinho stepped closer. Not too close. He always respected her space. What do you want to do? Vela did not understand the question. What do I want? Yes, do you want to go with them? Back to your people? Or do you want to stay? Stay. The word hit her like a physical blow. Stay. Was that even possible? Could she stay here on this human station with these strange, soft creatures who asked permission before touching? I am a soldier of the Kirith Empire, she said slowly. I have duties, obligations. I cannot simply stay. Why not? Because they are my people. My home. Is it a good home? Vela opened her mouth to answer. Then she stopped. She thought about her world. The cold metal cities. The endless battles. The constant fear. The hands that grabbed and hurt and never asked. Was it a good home? She had never asked herself that question before. I do not know, she admitted. Jinho nodded. He did not push. He never pushed. Whatever you decide, I'll support you. But I want you to know something. What? You have a choice. You always have a choice. They can't make you do anything you don't want to do. Not here. Not on this station. We won't let them. Vela stared at him. You would fight the Kirith? For me? If we had to, yes. You would die. Humans cannot fight Kirith warriors. You are too weak. Jinho smiled. That sad, gentle smile she had come to know so well. Maybe, but some things are worth dying for. Before Vela could respond, Captain Yuna's voice came over the speakers again. Kirith vessel has docked. Delegation approaching. All senior personnel to the main hall. Vela, they're asking for you. Vela took a deep breath. She looked at Jinho one more time. She wanted to say something. She wanted to tell him how much the last 6 weeks had meant to her. How he had changed everything she believed about the universe. How she would never forget his gentle hands and his patient voice. But the words would not come. They were stuck in her throat, trapped behind years of training and fear. She turned and walked toward the main hall. The Fagervadis, Ryuryu, Jinger, and walked. The Kirith delegation was waiting there. 3 warriors in full battle armor. Their silver skin was darker than Vela's. Their eyes were red, not gold. They were high caste, the rulers of the empire. The leader stepped forward. His name was General Cole. He was massive, even for a Kirith. His armor was covered in marks of victory. He had killed hundreds of enemies, maybe thousands. Vela, he said. His voice was cold. You survived. We are surprised. I am hard to kill, Vela replied. Her voice was steady, but her heart was pounding. General Cole looked around the station. He looked at the humans standing there. Captain Yuna, Taiho, some soldiers, and Jinho, who had followed Vela and was standing near the back, watching. These creatures kept you prisoner? The general asked. No, they gave me shelter. They healed my wounds. Healed you? General Cole sounded disgusted. They touched you? These weak, pathetic things put their hands on you. One of them did. To repair my armor. The general's red eyes blazed. That is a violation. You should have killed him. He asked permission. The words fell into a deep silence. General Cole stared at Vela like she had spoken a language he did not understand. Permission? He repeated. Yes, before every action. Before every touch. He explained what he was going to do. He asked if I agreed. He told me I could say no at any time. General Cole's face twisted with confusion. Then contempt. That is weakness. Asking permission is weakness. The strong do not ask. The strong take. I used to believe that, Vela said softly. I do not believe it anymore. The silence stretched out. The humans watched with tense faces. They did not fully understand what was happening, but they could feel the danger in the air. General Cole took a step toward Vela. You have been corrupted. These creatures have poisoned your mind. You need to return to the Empire. You need to be cleansed. Vela did not step back. She stood her ground. I am not going back. The general froze. What did you say? I said I am not going back. To the Empire. To the endless wars. To the world where touch is violence and kindness is weakness. I am staying here. General Cole's hand moved to his weapon. You dare defy the Empire? You dare defy me? Yes, the single word hung in the air. Vela felt calm now. Calmer than she had felt in years. She knew what she wanted. She knew what she was choosing. And she was not afraid. Then you will die, General Cole said. He drew his weapon. Jinho moved. He was not fast. He was not strong. He was not a warrior. But he moved anyway. He stepped forward, putting himself between Vela and the general. You're not going to hurt her, Jinho said. His voice was shaking. His hands were shaking. But he did not move. General Cole looked at him with something like amusement. Little human, what do you think you can do? I could kill you without effort. You are nothing. Maybe, Jinho said. But I'm not moving. The general raised his weapon. Vela moved too, trying to push Jinho aside. But the other two Kireth warriors were already lifting their weapons, pointing them at the humans. Captain Yuna shouted something. The human soldiers raised their own weapons. The room was full of pointed guns and tension and fear. It was going to end in blood. Vela could see it. Everyone was going to die. Because of her. Because she had dared to want something different. Then General Cole paused. He was looking at Jinho, really looking at him. The small human standing there, shaking with fear, but not moving. Not running. Not backing down. Why? The general asked. Why do you protect her? She is not your kind. She is nothing to you. Jinho swallowed. She's my friend. Friend? The word sounded strange in the general's mouth. You would die for a friend? Yes. General Cole was quiet for a long moment. His red eyes moved from Jinho to Vela and back again. Strange creatures, he muttered. Weak, soft, and yet, he lowered his weapon. The other Kireth warriors looked at him with shock, but they lowered their weapons too. General Cole stepped back. He studied Vela with new eyes. Eyes that held something she had never seen from a high-caste warrior. Uncertainty. You would choose these creatures over your own people, he said. Over the Empire. Over everything you have ever known. Yes, Vela said. Why? Vela thought about the question. She thought about Jinho, about his gentle hands, about his patient voice. about the note he had left beside her bed, about the way he hummed when he worked, about the way he treated everything, even machines, with respect and care. "Because they taught me something the Empire never could," she said finally. "What?" Vala reached out. She took Jinho's hand. His fingers were warm against hers. He looked at her with surprise, but he did not pull away. He held her hand gently, like everything he did. "That strength is not about power," Vala said. "It is about choice. About choosing to be gentle when you could be harsh. About choosing to ask when you could take. About choosing to protect when you could walk away." She looked at Jinho. He looked back at her. "He is the strongest person I have ever met," she said. "Not because of his body, because of his heart." General Cole stared at them, at their joined hands, at the way they stood together. Something shifted in his face. The contempt faded. Something else took its place. Something Vala could not name. "You will not return to the Empire," he said. It was not a question. "No, you will stay with these humans." "Yes, then you are no longer Kirith. You are exiled. If you ever return to our space, you will be killed on sight." Vala nodded. She had expected this. She had made her peace with it. General Cole turned to his warriors. "We are leaving." They walked toward the docking port. At the door, the general stopped. He looked back at Jinho. "Human?" he said. Jinho straightened. "Yes. Take care of her." Then he was gone. The Kirith ship detached from the station and flew away into the darkness of space. The tension in the room broke like a wave. People breathed. People lowered their weapons. People slumped against walls. Captain Yuna walked over to Vala and Jinho. "That was insane. That was absolutely insane. You almost got us all killed." "I'm sorry," Vala said. "Don't be sorry. Just warn me next time." The captain shook her head and walked away, muttering about paperwork and incident reports. Jinho and Vala were left standing together. Their hands were still joined. Neither of them moved to let go. "You're staying," Jinho said softly. "I'm staying. Are you sure? Your whole world. Your whole life. You're giving it all up." Vala looked at their hands. Her silver fingers intertwined with his brown ones. Different colors. Different species. Different worlds. And yet, somehow they fit.